Hey, Max, we're going bananas over here.
And we are locked in Fight Bananas Episode 3. Myself, Max Van Auken, Dave the Wave, joining me here in the studio. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great, Cuzzo. Doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. There's so much MMA news to talk about. But before we get started, we have Max Mustaki calling in. He'll be competing on Island Fights 51, December 21st. Get your tickets on Ticketmaster. Dave, fightbananas.com. And also on Facebook, Fight Bananas. Our Facebook feed has gone viral.
It's gone bananas. You like that wordplay? Michael B. Jordan, Black
Yes.
Panther,
Yes.
Creed. I love that kid. He's awesome from Friday Night Lights. He's a great actor. One of my favorites on the rise. Love him. TMZ caught him down in Hollywood. Maybe he had a couple too many to drink.
Yeah.
Walking down the street, and they asked him, what fighter would you love to fight? And he had to name our main guy, Island Fights, Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah. At least he was fair to say that he wouldn't stand a chance in his prime. So I'm
like
like, okay,
that.
I'm happy with that.
I respect that.
Even now.
Oh, my gosh.
Come on. Roy Jones Jr. is a machine, and I still have him over 99% of the world besides those boxers that are elite in their prime.
Totally agree. He would not last one round.
Yes.
If Roy would get one body shot and the fight would be over. Just one. I really think that the fight would be over. Roy Jones, one of the greatest fighters, boxers of all time.
We could talk hours for this.
Yes.
Moral to the story, Fight Bananas on Facebook and Instagram, guys. The greatest content out there, real MMA news. But without further ado, we have Max Mustaki calling in to the studio. Well, thank you for giving us your time, Max. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you guys.
Of course. We share the same name, went to the same middle school. You're a beast, I'm a beast. It just works, right?
Yeah.
He's always talking about himself, Max. I want to see you two guys tie up, and we can teach our young Max to my right here a lesson.
No need to do that, Max. You have the throne. You are the tougher Max, no doubt about it. But speaking about your toughness, I see you grinding out there at training camp. How has that been so far?
It's going good. I mean, been getting a lot of rounds in. I've been training with Brock Weaver and Elvin Brito and Justin Raymer. A lot of guys that we haven't trained before in the past, but now we've kind of like converged and created this little team that we got. Jason Cephalou, I think that's how you say his name. He was over there training with us as well. So it's pretty good that all these guys came together at this time because we're all fighting around the same time. So there's three of us are on the same card, so it's just extra work. I feel like this is going to be a really good camp.
Wow, Max, that sounds like the Avengers right there. Holy crap, I love that. I saw you were training with SD Dumas too, right?
Yeah, he's been training over there too, and we got a lot of guys. I mean, Rance, who fought for Island Fights in the past, he's there. At Remedy. And then obviously I'm over at Roy Jones Seniors, with Devin and all my training partners over there like Kish. I mean, we got a lot of guys, Gio, Moose, Jabron. I mean, there's tons of them. So we have plenty of guys to spar, but it's just this camp feels different. I just feel like everybody's pushing it a lot harder just because of the stakes.
Yeah, iron certainly sharpens iron. So, yeah, this is the biggest card of the year. We said that about Island Fights 50, but Dean Toole does a terrific job of putting on these stacked cards, breeding UFC fighters. So you have Greg Hardy, you have Michael Davis, and yourself, you're fighting Mike Barnett. And this guy just had a war with Anderson Hutchinson from Pete White Boxing and MMA. What did you take away from that fight? Because you were actually watching the fight with us when we were on stage at Island Fights 50. Obviously, I don't want you to give us the game plan, but is there any notes that you took away from that night?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I saw that I think I could capitalize on, but I'm sure he feels the same way about me. I mean, obviously he thinks he can beat me if he took the fight, so
right.
We'll just see who shines a little bit brighter that night. I just think that some of the things that he did with Anderson and some of the things he gave up aren't going to work as well with me. And and I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but I'd have to go back and watch that fight. Like that, I feel like I want to really pay attention to how that fight was judged. There was a lot of people saying that they thought Anderson won that fight, so I have to go back and watch it again to be honest with you. The last round, Anderson was dominating him. So.
I'm sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
no, yeah, I was just going to say that. I watched that fight 6 times. No doubt about it. Ando's our guy. Superman Hutchinson, we love that kid. I watched the fight 6 times, and like you nailed it. That third round was an easy, I thought, could be a 10-8. Anderson definitely dominated top, position. The ref maybe could have stopped it, but I love if the ref gives the fighters a little bit more than a little bit less. That's just my 2 cents. That's just how I like it. I like the aggressiveness, so I'd rather have the fighters another shot. So I agree with you. What you just said about the fight, I'm in total agreement. Max?
Yeah, but you talked about watching the fight again. Are you the type of fighter to study a lot of film, or do you kind of just implement your game plan and not worry so much on the other fighter?
Well, yeah, like in the past, I didn't watch a lot of tape, but I'm going to change that. It's like why not? Like I don't want to get fixated on anything because people change all the time. They're constant. I mean, if they're actively training like I'm training, you evolve and you get better and your game changes. So you can't ever predict how someone's going to act or move in a fight, but you can pick up on things that maybe he has a tendency to maybe do this or like bad habits if you see him not really correcting them. And that's all you really can do because these guys are all working on stuff. They're looking at things that you do too, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to capitalize on this." So it's just, honestly, in my opinion, it's just who gets off first. Like who can get off on the other guy first is going to win the fight. When you're 2 good guys are going at it and they both got knockout power, it's just who can touch the other guy first. And other than that, I mean, that's all it is. It's like a fencing match, with your hands.
Yeah. I like that analogy. Oh my gosh. The pinnacle of MMA is the UFC, and the man behind the UFC to me is Dana White. Not a lot of people in their whole career get to fight in front of Dana White. This will be your second time. You're on Tuesday night, Dana White's Contender Series. Hell of a fight. Didn't go your way with a broken bone right away in the first 20 seconds of the fight. So, of course, here's your redemption. Do you feel more pressure? Do you feel, oh, my gosh, I'm ready to go, more amped, excited, anxious? Fight in front of Dana White, Island Fights 51, December. How you feel, Max?
Honestly, I'm not really, that amped about that. It's just, I don't want to fixate on that, oh, yeah, I fought in front of him before. I mean, if they remember me, then they know, yeah, that guy's kind of tough. How they're probably thinking, how will he move or act when he doesn't have an injury? That's what I would be trying to see. So I don't want to get caught up on that, the Dana White or the TV show thing because there's a lot of guys on there. You don't know who they're looking at, and all I can really focus on is just trying to go out there and win a fight. I don't want to. I don't want to be gun shy or anything like that. I want to always fight like I normally fight, and I feel like a lot of people when they get put in the spotlight like that, they'll kind of freeze up. Like some people are saying, "Oh yeah, well this is going to be a banger. All these dudes are going to be banging," and it looks like it, right? But sometimes guys get gun shy when there's somebody watching like that. They're like, "Oh man, if I get knocked out, dude, in front of this dude, I'll never come back from this," so I'm curious to see how everyone's going to act, I'm not worried about how I'm going to fight. I fight the same way every time. I'm going to fight you, but how is everyone else going to fight, and how's everyone else going to act? Because it's a little different. It's weird, especially that TV show, man. That show's weird. Fighting in that warehouse, it's almost personal.
Yeah, and Max, it's different when you're under the bright lights. Obviously, you can talk about that. Island Fights 51 is the biggest card of the year, like you've just been talking about. Dana White looking for a fight. You're experienced. You've been there. A lot of people haven't been there. So it leads me to my next question. How critical has it been to have key sponsors and teammates and supporters around you heading into this camp?
Yeah, it's super critical because, it's not easy to do these camps and to train all day, you either got to work. That's the big struggle for a lot of fighters. That's why some gyms have you see a lot of them doing it now, kind of like how Greg Jackson or I know Lloyd Irvin has it, where they have a camp where the fighters go and they live in the gym. You know?
Certainly.
It pay like a rent, to stay in like a dorm or something. But it's hard. It's hard, and sponsors definitely help out. They're critical. Not all, it's a broad spectrum of sponsors too. It's like, you got them from, I have a sponsor who just gives me services like chill cryotherapy. I go there and they make sure that, and that was huge for when I hurt my foot, to have a sponsor like that where they're like, hey, yeah, you can come in here and we'll take care of you. And to be able to get cryotherapy every day on your foot.
And Team Fake Gear.
I could. Yeah, Team Fake Gear. That's another one. We have, those guys have been sponsoring me since I fought Sock, and they sponsor SD, Devin, Anderson, I think Hannah Goldie.
Mike Beast Boy Davis.
Mike Davis. Yeah, Mike Davis. I mean, they sponsor Samantha, Taylor White.
Yep.
Who else?
The list keeps going.
Forgetting people, my bad. Yeah, I mean, they got
Conor
a lot of people,
McGregor. They just keep on going.
Yeah. I can't remember them all, but yeah, I mean, sponsors, like you said, are a big part of the training camp, and they help you out a lot. And it wouldn't be as easy to do this if you didn't have them.
Absolutely. Hey, Max. Me and Max here, we talk about the fights, we watch all the fights, but I definitely want to get your input as being a fighter with the biggest card of the year. There's one fight coming up for the UFC that I'm so amped about. Me and Max keep on going back and forth. UFC 231, main events, Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. Those are two of the toughest, best fighters in the world. Who do you think has the edge in that fight?
I don't know. That's a crazy fight. Brian Ortega has really good jiu-jitsu, and
it's
I
world
remember
class.
Max Holloway got taken down by Conor McGregor, and Conor's not really known for, being a grappler.
Max, you didn't know the rule? We always go for Max. Max Holloway, Max Mustaki.
I know. I feel like a traitor right now, but I just feel like Brian Ortega's pretty nasty, man. I mean, and his hands have gotten really good too.
He's got knockout power, world-class submissions. Max, is that why you're not going for Ortega? Just because of his name?
Well, for one, I love Ortega. That's my homie. That's my brother from another mother. But when you're a Max, you have a special place in my heart. So I always will root for a Max. Just like Maximus from Gladiator, you have Max Mustaki, you have myself on this mic, you have Max Holloway. I can't name a bad Max in the business. Mad Max. The list keeps going on.
What? Now that you put it like that, man, I'm gonna have to just switch sides, man. I'm gonna go with Max Holloway. I feel like a traitor to my own kind. So yeah. No, I can't do that. Yeah, I don't know. Max Holloway's really tough though, and that's not an easy fight. So it's hard to say who's gonna win it. I feel like both those guys are really dangerous.
Of course, yeah, they're top of the line, best in the world, but. To the best Max there is, Max Mustaki, thank you so much for giving us your time. You're always welcome to get locked in also on Fight Bananas. We truly appreciate your time. But before we let you go, we talked about sponsors. The floor is yours. Plug away your social media, any sponsors. The floor is yours, Max.
Okay, yeah. I just have Instagram, really. It's just my name, Max Mustaki. And then for sponsors, obviously Team Fake Gear, Chill Cryotherapy, North Florida Auto Brokers, Mark Harris Bail Bonds. Who else?
You get your haircut at a certain place, right?
Yeah, Pensacola House of Barbers. I got my buddy Paul Gillier with NCR Coatings. My buddy Doug with Gulf Coast Carpentry. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Well, that's a good list.
Anybody, my bad. Oh yeah. Oh, Trish with Pensacola House of Vapors. Yeah, my bad. The vape shop at Pensacola. Yeah, my bad. So yeah, I think that's all of them, man.
Friday, December 21st, Island Fights 51, Ticketmaster.com. It's on UFC Fight Pass. Catch our main man, Max Mustaki. Can't wait, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks. Take care.
All right. Max Mustaki, everybody. The best Max in the business. The only time you're going to hear me say this.
I know. You gave someone the credit over you. That's not like you. Come on, Max. You're back. Where are you?
I've been influenced by LeBron James and just great people in the sport, It's just good to be humble and give back.
I agree. And talking about great people, one of the greatest people that we know together, especially in the MMA industry.
Yes.
Mike Beast Boy Davis, our guy.
Yeah, couldn't
Right?
say enough good things about him. He also will be competing on Island Fights 51. He's competed on UFC Contender Series. Michael Beast Boy Davis is calling into the studio. The Beast Boy himself. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty well. How you guys?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Mike Davis on the line. Dave and Max here getting locked in. We just talked to Max Mustaki, and I'm going to kind of start off the same question I kind of asked him. You guys were both on Dana White's Contender Series. Now you guys fight in front of Dana White again, him coming to you guys this time, Pensacola Beach, Florida, for looking for a fight. Does that, pump you up even more? I'm not going to let this opportunity go off twice. Or, hey, it's just another fight in a cage or a boxing ring for this one. How do you feel for this?
Well, the last time I didn't let it go to my head, and I still doing the same thing this time. Not letting it go to my head and just treating it as I would any other fight. No nerves, no extra nerves. That just makes it eerie.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mike, you bring to the table a unique skill set. Going into this fight, you're fighting a tough opponent. Island Fights 51, like we've been saying all this episode, it's the biggest fight card of the year. Have you studied your opponent, or are you just going in there with Michael Davis, I'm confident in my abilities and what I can achieve?
I'm working on all the things that I've been slacking on, so I'm going in with what I've been working on, what I've been practicing. Bringing back the old me. I learned a lot from my last fight. That kind of stuff will happen again, so I'm going to go in and do what I normally do.
Yeah, and now if we see a Michael Davis that's grown even more than we know originally, that's a scary sight. That really is. And yeah, I feel like you've grown a lot already just seeing you in training and as a person from that fight. You're coming in there now as a veteran. You're experienced. You've competed in Dana White before. What is it like competing on this type of card of this magnitude?
It's a lot bigger. You feel a rush, but I mean, this isn't my early fights. I'm 24 fights in now, so
right.
I'm kind of getting used to the feeling. It's normal. It's like sparring. It's like showing up to sparring day where there's people I don't know, but we still spar. We still enjoy each other and have fun. That's what I'm gonna do.
Feel like a young veteran.
Yeah.
Fun question for you though. So. For people who don't know you personally, you can always follow Michael Davis on Instagram or like him on Facebook, or his fan page. But you're a huge Rick and Morty fan. You love cartoons. You love Fortnite. We've went and seen Marvel movies together. Is there anything in particular that you're coming out to in this fight, or is it a surprise? Because if so, I want you to break it on here.
Coming out to?
Yeah. What are you wearing? Anything in particular?
Oh, no. I don't have anything really lined up, but I got a month to think about it, so I'm going to figure it out.
Oh, we can't wait for that. We will be in the building. We can't wait for you, Mike. Tell me your two thoughts about Socrates Pierre. Definitely a veteran in the game. Been there at Island Fights. Fought on Combat Night, Mitchell Chabali's show. What's your thoughts about Mr. Pierre?
All respect to him. Good fighter.
Yeah.
I've never sat and watched anything that he's done. I'm not really sure how he fights. I know Max fought him last, right? That was his last fight.
Yes.
And, I mean, to be honest, if Max can beat him, I can beat him. So I'm just going to go in there and do the same.
Wow. Yeah, we just got done talking to Max, too. It's going to be so exciting to watch you compete on this card. There's Max Mustaki. There's Greg Hardy. So just everything. Yeah, everybody. This is the biggest card of the year. Dean Toole really did a fantastic job. What has it been like training and having the sponsors involved? And we talk with Max about how crucial it is to have a good team. How has it been so far with you this camp?
On and off. There's been some issues coming around my work life, my training life. But I'm getting it in hand and moving forward now. Everything's starting to flow a little better.
Yeah.
I only got, 3-4 weeks left?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're 4 weeks out this Saturday.
I'll make it the best. Yeah, I'll make it the best.
But back to your original point, you're a veteran. And it's like you're a young veteran, but you're a veteran, so there's really nothing you haven't been through at this point, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I fought, what is this? This is a 5-round fight. And I fought 5-round fights before. I haven't gone into 5 rounds, but I've fought where there are 5 rounds in a fight.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mike, you haven't fought 5 minutes a lot. we're a minute 30 in most of your fights, but that's always a good thing. We're hoping for that for you on this fight too. You know me, Mike, 34, 2 kids. I love the holidays. All this great stuff going around. Food, family, friends. I love it. How does it feel to be a fighter? Thanksgiving's this week. We got Christmas right after your show, and I know you'll have definitely Christmas goodies then. But how do you feel fighting around the holidays?
It kind of sucks because Thanksgiving's here, and I don't have too much family around. So when I get to get with the people that care about me, and I care about them, and we all just sit around and get to talk and eat, I don't get to eat.
That's a good point.
It kind of sucks.
Well, we all know you're our family, so you're always welcome to spend the time with us in the holidays. And I'm going to counter that for a second, a little rebuttal. I could argue this will be your best holiday because if you get the biggest win, who knows what this can hold. I mean, Dana White's in the building. It's Island fights. So I think it's going to be a good holiday for you, Mike.
I think so. I think so, too.
And you'll be getting locked in with us.
That contract is all I want for Christmas.
Well, that may be your gift.
That could happen. He's looking for a fight. I asked Max the same question. It's kind of funny because you were so pro Khabib versus Conor. Max and I both thought Conor was going to win. We were wrong. You were locked in. The biggest fight at the end of this year for me is coming up in a couple weeks. Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. Both kind of in your weight class area. Both of these fighters can go. Ortega, world-class submission, but power. Max is just, God, unbelievable. Hasn't lost since Conor, right? What's your 2 cents on this fight?
I think Ortega might take it.
Yeah, Ortega's nasty. He is.
Ortega's bigger.
Yep.
And I feel like he has a higher ground set.
Yeah.
A ground game. So with the striking, he has more power to knock him down. And if he goes down, he has the ability to finish.
Yeah,
I think Ortega will take it.
Yeah, I think he's got more power stand-up. I do like Max's stand-up better. I think kicks, punches, elbows, he does more. But Ortega, to me, he's got more power, better wrestler, better submission game. I kind of like him in all 3 levels, Max.
Yeah, and Ortega can, he's a threat everywhere. He can finish you everywhere. But, Mike, I can make this argument because it's almost similar to the way you fight. You move forward. You wear people down. And if they can't stand with you, they break. And if they can, you take them out of their element. And that's kind of what Max does, though. What he did to Aldo twice now, he peppered him, and he peppered him, and he moved forward, and he moved forward. We've never seen anybody do that to Aldo.
That's true.
That's a good point, Max.
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
I'm over here getting locked in, Mike, with or without you. So you can either join the bandwagon or you can get off it. But
wait, so are you both picking Max?
No, I got Ortega. I've been, for a year and a half, I've been calling Ortega will be a champion. Same thing I said about Darren Till. His second fight in the UFC, I was like, he will one day be a champion. Ortega wins this fight.
I'm not sure yet. I'm leaning towards Max, but it's still some time to decide.
Max has been one of my favorite fighters coming into the UFC.
Yeah.
He's a machine.
He's shown me how to be diverse with striking, and I've taken a lot from him, and he's become one of my favorite fighters.
Agree.
And he won a belt.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what these 2 fighters can do. But, Mike, couldn't thank you enough for your time. Please, the floor is yours. Any sponsors, social media followings, please plug away.
Oh,
I know it's a list.
I'm sorry? I do have to give a thanks to everybody that's been supporting from my last fight, before and beyond. And still to this day, and the new people that have come in, I really, really give thanks to you guys. There's not really much to say. Kind of trying to stay focused here. This is, like everyone's pointing that this is the biggest fight. It might even be a bigger deal to me than it was to go in the Contender Series.
Wow.
So I that's how I feel sometimes, and I kind of want to stay focused. The support that you guys give is allowing me to do that. The sponsors help me get time off work so I can focus on getting my cardio ready for a 5-round fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dean Toole, Holy crap!
Dean.
He's the man. He's the promoter. He's the guy, matchmaker. He's got the best shoes in the industry. He shows Max the Gucci's. But putting on
before I met Dean, and it took me a year, sometimes more, to get one fight, and then Dean came away, and I got 3 fights in 1 year, and so on and so forth.
He knows how to breed UFC fighters, that's for sure. I'm teaching him the shoe game. He's still young in the shoe game. We take notes, but other than that, there's nothing but good things from Dean. But I saw he got you some Yeezys. Those are fresh.
They are. They're nice.
I'm gonna have to try them on when I see you. But Mike, we truly appreciate your time, man. Definitely best of luck to you and your training camp, and if you ever need anything, we're one call away.
Of course. I need to stop in next time I'm up there.
Of course. You're always welcome. You have a permanent seat. There's just tape saying Mike Davis right there, so whenever you want.
I'll be in soon.
It's Scotch tape, Mike. All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Love you.
All right, Mike.
Of course. Much love.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Michael Beast Boy Davis, Max Mustaki, Dave the Wave. We have the best job in the biz.
I know. I love it. I love it. It's what we do for a living. We talk, we smile, and we shake hands.
Socrates and Mike Barnett are tough opponents, and I think they'll bring the best out of both Max and Mike. So I can't wait. It's Ticketmaster, guys. So if you have no idea how to get there, it's Pensacola, Florida. Everybody has an iPhone nowadays. If you have an Android, it's okay. We won't judge.
Oh, I will judge.
No, we will judge. We will judge. But it's maps, guys. It's ways. Get there, Ticketmaster. Get your tickets early because this place is selling out.
Those 2 fights you just said are 2 top-tier, tremendous UFC-level fights. That's not even the main event.
No,
that's how crazy.
It's a former NFL player. He seems to be knocking out people.
Oh, he could change the heavyweight game. Heavyweights are on fire right now with maybe Kane coming back. We just talked to Javier Mendez from AKA.
Oh my
DC's
God,
the champ. We got the best heavyweight of all time, Brock Lesnar, coming back into the UFC.
Come on, Dave.
Oh, I lost you there, didn't I? But
Greg
it's a great card.
Hardy.
Brock Weaver versus Tyler Hill. We got our man James Freeman versus Brito. The card is stacked.
Yeah. I almost wanted to make my debut on this card. No, but seriously, guys, Island Fights 51, December 21st. We digress a little bit, but this is what we do.
Yep.
We didn't talk any Marvel movies, so we have to make it up.
Okay.
Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal. FightBananas.com, guys. You could check it out. But, Dave, this fight has the potential fight of the year written all over it.
Wow, fight of the year. Okay.
The reason why I say that is because Nick has a chin, and he's only 35 years old, so people think he's an old-time fighter, and he's really not. And if one thing you know about the Diaz brothers is a couple things. One, they're always in shape. They do triathlons. They do marathons. They have conditioning for days. Very, very durable. I think him, Nate Diaz, and Dan Henderson have the best chins in the MMA history. So you take that into account with their cardio and their stamina. They have great Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so you don't want to go on the ground with them. But their boxing is some of the most underrated boxing in MMA history as well. It's like these slaps that just wear you down and they keep moving forward. Then you take Jorge, who loves to stand up and bang. That is why it's my recipe for potential fight of the year.
Oh, absolutely. UFC 235. One thing, I looked into both of these, and I know both fighters. We talk about them. For one, Nick hasn't fought in a while. He hasn't won since 2011, which
BJ
is
Penn.
pretty crazy, right? But I looked at both of them. They both are more similar than what people think about how many fights they've had, how many wins. They both were in Strikeforce and in the UFC. Jorge's 34 years old. I thought he was a little bit younger. He's had some great wins, some losses against big timers. Like Darren Till was his last loss, who's he's number 1 contender in the welterweight division. But both of these guys, it will be a great fight. The question that I'm kind of waiting to see, is it a 3-round fight or a 5-round fight? Because will it be a main event or will it be just a co-main event or the a fight on the card? Because that's a big difference. Both fighters haven't fought in a long time, and I know you said the cardio is great for Nick. I agree, it is, but there's a different game cardio to in the cage cardio, and he hasn't fought in a long time. So I would rather this fight to be a 3-round fight.
No, that makes sense, and that's going to be a great problem for Dana White because he has such an amazing fight ahead of himself. It can be a main event. It would be a main event that everybody would want to watch, but if you put it as a co-main event, that means that card's even better. So it's a win-win for Dana White. He's really doing a terrific job at the UFC. Dave, when I wrote about this, I was looking at it, and it's funny you mentioned this because I looked at their resume, their MMA resume. Yeah, okay, so Nick Diaz fought Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, BJ Penn. Like, he never fought an easy fight, only the upper echelon type of guys, and the same with Jorge. I'm like, okay, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Donald Cerrone. Like, it was just one after Damian Maia, and if you look at it, Damian Maia, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson just fought for the title. So he's not fighting these guys who are just easy wins from. He's fighting top-of-the-line, upper echelon type of guys. So I think if Nick Diaz wins, it catapults him up the welterweight ranks, and vice versa. If Jorge wins, that's a notable win over Nick Diaz. He shoots right up there.
Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity for both fighters and for the UFC.
It's a great match make because you just said something. I'm going to just jump on it. It's a win-win.
Yes.
It really is. It's a win-win. Whoever loses this fight is still relevant and still stays in the game. And whoever wins this fight can be pushed right into a number one contender fight. Or, God, who knows? Could be put right into a title match.
Yeah.
Could.
Nick Diaz is a big name. He's a big draw. He talks good smack.
Yeah. And especially if the Covington RDA thing gets all worked out somehow in the next, they have 6 months by the time this fight is over. You know what I mean? So by the time, if Diaz gets a first-round knockout and Woodley's already fought by then and Usman maybe loses to RDA and there's not another fight, that can go into, Diaz could get a title fight right away. It's that crazy.
Yeah, and we talked about it, but guys, brief intermission. FightBananas.com. FightBananas.com, guys. Check it out. Also on Facebook. Like the page. It's the best highlights, the best MMA news. Also on Instagram. Follow us, FightBananas.com. And Dave, you put something out there, and we've been putting these videos and these pictures out, and this really gained some momentum, and Roy Jones Jr. shared it. It's something that's interesting. Whether it comes to fruition or not is one thing, but what it does is it compels people to look at it. And it is interesting. You have a Michael B. Jordan superstar right now, Black Panther, Creed.
One of the biggest actors in the world.
And for one, I don't think an actor can just go into boxing just like that. Everybody has to be in extraordinary shape to compete at this type of level, which he is in. So that's what makes it compelling. He is in peak physical condition. So that's why it's like, okay, he can make an argument, but the people who truly know boxing and MMA say no way. So that's what I think compels people, is because you have the people who don't really know boxing see this guy in crazy shape, and it looks like he knows how to throw a punch. He's not just some actor. But then from our point of view, we know how great Roy Jones Jr. is, even at this age. He competed on island fights and made it look easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Roy Jones could be 75 years old and still get the job done. I think he's 49, so he can still throw hands. He would definitely demolish Michael B. Jordan. I'm telling you, a body shot. First round, easy. It would be a quick fight. The buzz would be awesome, though. The hype, us, I would love to call it. I would love to be there. I joked to Dean, I go, hey, Island Fights 55, we got your main event.
Exactly. So either way, it's very interesting. But guys, Nick Diaz, Jorge Masvidal, Michael B. Jordan, Roy Jones Jr., the MMA game is crazy. The Floyd fight is back on now, but I don't think Tenshin can throw any kicks. It's only boxing, so it's like an exhibition type of match. The MMA game is just crazy.
It is. They always, at the end of the year, they always cap it off. We haven't even talked about the John Jones versus Gus 2 fight, which is, you can argue, is the biggest light heavyweight fight in the history of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, you can make that.
Bones' return, the rematch, maybe you can. That first fight was the greatest fight ever, the greatest title fight ever, and now it's a rematch with Bones coming back. And if he wins, all the endless opportunities that can go. Of course, the Bones DC3. We'll get into that later. We'll get into it. What a great show. Max Mustaki, Michael Beast Boy Davis, Island Fights 51.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Guys, this is Max and Dave here. We're on the Locked In Sports Podcast. If you enjoy this episode, you can download and subscribe. Please give the athletes a follow who you heard today, Michael Davis and Max Mustaki. They really are the future of MMA. And check Island Fights out. Couldn't say it anymore. Dave and I will be in the building there for the Locked In crew. Fight Bananas. It's a pleasure to always talk MMA and boxing with you, Dave.
Absolutely, Cuzzo. And hey, my last thing, like always, support your local fighters. Go out in your community. Support them because they are the future of the MMA game.
Yes, sir. And like always, guys, stay locked in.